Hi, my name's Amber, and together with my mom, we are the Cheeky Quilters. Thank you so much for joining me. Truly appreciate you spending the time with me today. I believe that every quilt has a story. Her name is Alli the Gator. What I did with Alli is I used denim to, and this is actually my husband's breeches that I cut up and used. So they are Second Life jeans around the alligator. The body of the alligator is just green scrap fabric that I had laying around. I used rickrack for the border, and that was rickrack that was gifted to us through the studio at my mom's studio. I used rickrack, I used buttons, I actually used pieces of leather, alligator leather that I've acquired. I put a couple of pieces on there. I don't know if I really like it, I may or may not keep it. But I also I have some alligator teeth that I was planning on putting on the mouth of the alligator. Not sure if I'm gonna use it or not. It looked really cute at first. We'll see how it turns out. So when you print out the pattern for Alli the Gator, you will see that it is printed in your home printer in different sheets, and you will have to tape them together so that once they're all combined and taped together, you will end up with a pattern for Alli the Gator. Now Alli has a ribbon. I think I'm gonna make this little ribbon into from some cute, scrappy, maybe some florals. I don't know, it needs to be super girly because alligators generally tend to be so scary and masculine. We need to make her really soft and pretty. So you will take your SF-101 Pellon and lay it over Alli the Gator, the pattern, and just trace it. And so and that is it. So I am not going to cut the SF-101, but you could if you wanted to make the alligator and then applique it onto something else, which is not a bad idea. But what I am going to do is actually use the background. I'm gonna make the background blue. I'm gonna use that denim that we talked about earlier. And so I'm gonna make Alli the Gator with this piece of Pellon, and then I'm thinking at this point that I may add a border around her. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish her off, but she's going to have lots of embellishments, and so she's not really going to be able to be used as a quilt. So more than likely she'll just be a wall hanging like this, and I can't wait to see how she turns out with all the embellishments we have. Now I like Pellon SF-101 because it's like linen. It's all 100% cotton, and what you'll do is you will trace, and I've already done this for timing reasons, you will trace Alli the Gator onto the Pellon with the sticky side up. The sticky side is the rough side where you are going to actually iron the fabric on. I have been quilting, like I said, for about 25 years, but I've recently discovered collage quilting, scrappy collage quilting, scrapplique, all of that stuff. And so the technique that I use is a little bit different than what you will see on the collage quilter. The collage quilter, and I love her stuff, and in fact I'm actually gonna try to make some patterns using the collage quilter techniques. She uses light steam-a-seam too to get very precise pictures and collages. Alli the Gator is not going to be precise. Think of Monet, Impressionist. We are not precise here. I do have some quilts that I want to be precise, and so I will use other products. And I have this heat and bond that I do use a lot of times on smaller items. And I may use some of the heat and bond, maybe like for the eyebrows and the eyelashes, on Alli, but I won't use it for the entire project like some other collage quilters and scrappy quilter appliques do. So just be aware that some of the products I use are not just the SF-101, but I use other things as well. I've divided my scraps of fabric into light green and dark green, making sure that I have enough fabric to cover the entire pattern. Now, there aren't any seams here, and the fabric is actually going to overlap slightly, leaving a raw edge. You'll need some small pieces for the curves and details, but we're going to cut those down later. We also use the blue denim for the background, but you can use whatever color, whatever fabric you'd like. Shout out to Cricut. I am using my mini iron today to make Alli the alligator. I'm not opposed to sponsorships, just saying. So what's happening here is I am marking where Alli's foot is, and I'm going to cut the denim exactly as it is so that when I put the green on for her foot, I don't go outside of the lines. Now this pattern, you really can use your judgment, your discretion, your artistry, like have fun with it. Sometimes I want to be exact and I'm drawing out there and cutting it, but then other times I'm overlapping and then going back and cutting later. We'll see a little bit of that next. When you're butting up the outside and the inside of the pattern, sometimes you might get some of the pellon showing, and you just need to go back and fill those pieces in using whatever tools you have. You can see here that I'm actually cutting some of the denim off because I don't want too many straight lines, and I'm going to go back later, and any like kind of overlap that I have, I'm going to fray those edges. This is where you get to kind of go crazy, and this is not an exact sport. Have fun with it. I'm also, as I'm going, you see I have my little Cricut mini iron, and I am ironing the pieces down as I go. I'm working in small blocks. I have a wool mat, ironing mat underneath Alli right now. Excuse my hair. But I am ironing in small pieces, working in small pieces. It just makes it easier as I go along. Again, sometimes, having to search for pieces, search for scraps, filling in, cutting, doing all those things. The other thing that I do is look at the colors. Now, some of the colors you'll want to be darker in some spots and lighter in other spots. On her belly, you can see I have the light green, and some of the background I want darker. And so you just get to play around with your greens and make sure that you are staying within the lines, using whatever iron that you have handy. Now you can see I've already ironed down the denim on one side of the foot, and I'm going to just press over it and then go back and cut. You can see here, so I'm ironing it down, ironing it down. Hear my southern accent. And then I go back with the scissors and I trim exactly on the lines so that her foot keeps the correct shape. And you can either do the outline first, the inside or the outside, whatever works for you. Just trimming those pieces off so that it creates the pattern that you want it to create. The beautiful thing about the SF101 is when you iron it down, as long as you don't iron it too hot or too, they want you to use water on it. I find it pretty forgiving. Like you can come back and pull some pieces up and then add pieces later. And so it is a little forgiving in that way. So I'm just going to progress here, and you can watch me as I add pieces of, again, drawing so that I can cut it. But you'll see, I'm just going to be adding pieces and going along, and then, oh, look how cute that is. I noted in the instructions that Allie's face looks better if it's cut from one whole piece of fabric rather than piecing it like I did on the rest of the body. Be sure that you have one piece of green that's at least big enough to cover her head. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the original pattern and I'm going to trace on, I think this is just some thin paper, parchment paper. I am outlining the shape of her face, and then I'm going to cut the fabric again, just that one solid piece of fabric with her face on it, making sure that it's face up, that the fabric is going the right direction. You can see I pinned it to the paper and then cut it out, and now I'm just unpinning, and voila! Allie's face is there. So what I'm going to do next is actually, and I didn't iron her face down just yet. I'm adding the embellishments to her face. Again, guys, you'll just need to be creative here. I used heat and bond for the smaller elements on Allie's face, her eyebrows, her eyes, her nostrils, her smile, all of that. As you can see, I've got heat and bond on the back. I'm ironing it on and just making the shapes that I want them. Being super creative, nothing fancy, just kind of making it work. There are lines on the pattern, but feel free to change them up, embellish, make her smile bigger, less. I think I forgot to add her eyelashes, but as you can see now, her face is done, and so I'm working on the rest of her body. Okay guys, so Alli is finished, the body of the quilt for the most part, and now we need to embellish, and this is where the I can totally use that comes in. I did use the denim, so that's a totally can use that. All of the fabric you see are scraps from our stash. The blue is it's all stash. I didn't buy anything for this. I could probably quilt for 36 years and never buy another piece of fabric. So again, I mean, you can see how old this stuff is. These are some things we found. Didn't find any black yarn, but that's okay. I do have some tiny little green rickrack. That's so old, y'all. 5 yards, 10 cents. Some green rickrack. We have 4 black rickracks, 2 that are small, 1 that's a medium, and a large one. We found this. I was thinking about how I could use that on the bow. Not sure if that's really going to work. There's also some pink lace that I might use on the bow. Not sure about that. I'm not exactly happy with the way the bow looks, so I'm going to play with that a little bit more and see what we can use. And yeah, so let's see how much black rickrack we have for. I think maybe the green and the black rickrack, we'll start there and then we'll worry about the bow last. So this tiny little green black rickrack, I gotta be honest, y'all. Oh my God, look how old this pin is. This is probably legit from, it broke. I wonder what year this stuff is made. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to cut that broken nail, it's not even a needle, it's kind of like a nail, off. Put that over there and see how this shows up. Oh, I kind of like that. It's not too big. I think that looks good. We have a lot of that size. What I may do is put the smaller one on the outside to outline, and then maybe use, this is the big one for the lines. I hate opening these old tacks. I feel like when they get to a certain age, they should just remain. 2 yards, 10 cents. It's awesome. I love it. Look at that chick. We love her. It's a neck bow tie with matching cufflink recipe on the back. I love it. I love it. And actually, if I use the larger rickrack for his back scales, I can just go in a straight line. I don't even really need to worry about, y'all, that's perfect. I love it. I love it. Okay, and I don't even need that much of it. So we're gonna go with the big rickrack for his scales on his back, and we're gonna use the smaller rickrack for outlining. I do need to figure out how we're gonna use the teeth and if we're gonna use the teeth. So y'all, this is so funny. Does he look like a snaggletooth?
Oh, that's cute. Those are nice teeth.
Yes, they're nice and white.
Bleached.
They're bleached. I know, I said that earlier. I don't know. That is so cute. I think I'm going to do 3 of them. The other thing we need to talk about is whether or not we want to use the leather on it. I really like the way it looks without using the leather pieces. And the leather's going to be really hard to sew on.
You might have to hand stitch it.
Oh, I'll definitely hand stitch it, but I just...
I like the leather though. I think it
maybe
adds.
put a couple of pieces?
Yeah, just a couple.
Okay.
I think it adds a lot.
I don't have to put a lot of holes in it and do a whole blanket stitch because they can dangle.
Okay.
So I can put 3 stitches at the top of each one of them and they'll be poking out. That might be cute.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily want them flat on there either. And then also what I'm going to do, reusing, but I'm actually going to use these seams from the denim to make loops, hanging loops at the top of the quilt. Thank you for joining me today in learning how I made my Alli the Gator. If you have the pattern, feel free to use whatever you have to embellish Alli and make her your own. I personally love the way the rickrack turned out. I do also want to show you how I finished Alli. I did not record myself quilting Alli and kind of finishing her up, so there's a couple of things I want to show you before we wrap this video up. Let's talk about Alli's quilting. What I did was I used a really fun variegated rainbow thread, and I basically echoed all around Alli everywhere. Good fun stuff, nothing fancy. I did go back and kind of fray these edges. I love the way it looks when you fray the edges, and really all I did was I took, I don't know, maybe a side of the scissors, and I just kind of scraped so that you can get all of the denim, however you like to fray your denim. I think that looks really good. I don't know if you can see the details. Alli's face, I just kind of went around the lines. I didn't do too much on her face, circled the eyes and the nostrils a little bit. I have the leather pieces on the top just dangling. I don't know, I think it gives it some depth. And again, the rickrack is just sewed through the middle. So, you know, over time it'll fray a little bit, more fraying here. And let's look at her bow. What I ended up doing with her bow was taking some of this really old lace that I have. It was actually given to me by a friend of mine whose mother passed away. And so this is lace that is old. It was given, like I said, by somebody's mom. So I do have a personal connection. And this is just a cute little pink button that I have. And then on the inside of the original pink that I didn't really like too much, I just kind of made circles and made it look like, you know, this was the original ribbon, and then there's another one there. And so that's what happened with the bow. Now let's look at the back side of Alli. So you can see I used different colors. The bow, which is pink, is quilted, free motion quilted, also in pink. And you can see just the outline of the bow. Inside of Alli's body, I did this very, I don't even know what you'd call it, kind of square kind of quilting. Let's see if I can get an angle. You can see how I just kind of did these random square straight lines that I was hoping would mimic the scales of an alligator. And so I really liked the way that turned out. And then on the outside, and I used green to quilt the body of the gator, Alli. And then on the outside, which is where the blue is, I used a variegated rainbow thread. And you can see I kind of did some up and down lines, some echoes, kind of did some craziness. Now I am not great at free motion quilting, and so I'm still learning, and it's really fun. I did not do a whole lot in her face, which is good because I wanted you to be able to see it. Look how sweet she is with that big smile. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you do have the Alli the Gator pattern, thank you so much for either buying it or supporting me in such a way that I felt comfortable giving it to you for free. Please provide feedback if you have that pattern. I would love to know what you think about it. And where there's room for improvement, please kindly let me know so that I can update the pattern, and I will be more than happy to forward it to people who are subscribed to my email list. That's how I'll get the updates to you. The second thing is, if you've watched this tutorial, this video all the way through, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you don't own the pattern, if you go to my website, thecheekyquilters.com, and you put in the coupon code for Alli the Gator, if you put the coupon code tutorial, TUTORIAL, I will give you a 50% off coupon to get Alli the Gator pattern. Thank you so much for supporting me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video. It really helps me out and helps me to continue to make this channel a success. Peace out, y'all. Thanks.